Some of the things that I've learned, like over the course of the class, like we kind of talked about hypermasculinity and how that's like a prevalent like factor in policing and like the whole policing culture.
I think one of the biggest things that I've learned during this project is trying to focus on the disease and not necessarily the symptom when it comes to our society.
Over the course of like the past 4 weeks and the next 2 weeks, we have had the opportunities and we'll have opportunities to meet a lot of people from around the community who are kind of just there to provide support for us.
First off, I am learning different rights. So what happens when you're encountering police if they have some weird interaction or doing something that doesn't feel right, then you can actually know what's going wrong and you can assert your rights then.
I've learned that there's a lot of people around me in my community who are able to provide that support for me personally and for my friends and family.
Systematic racism has been ingrained in our society for so long, ever since the slave trade.
There's a lot of focus on the police and police brutality and stuff like that, and that's very important to focus on, but I think it's important to understand that there's also a larger system that have put those issues in place.
Systematic racism and how like it's all like a combined and collective system.
I'll be able to teach the people I love how to go through those situations safely.
I can teach my own family and my friends and kind of like go more in depth of what I learned.
I think that acknowledging this problem is a step to acknowledging the system itself, but eventually we have to get to that point too.
If it was some of the things that I'd like the freshmen to know is that like their rights and they understand like what they're able to do.
I do want them to say that they've learned their rights and that they feel comfortable asserting them in situations where they're needed. I want them to feel like as they watch us students go through this process of leading workshops that they can also be leaders.
Always stay calm when they have like an interaction with the cops.
Try to be confident in their interactions with police. Like I think the biggest problem is on both sides there's a lot of fear and there's a lot of anxiety. So I think learning their rights will enable them to be more calm and not freak out when they get into those interactions.
When you're interfering with the police officer, especially as a youth and when you're with your friends, remember to always stay as calm as possible and don't try to escalate the problem by trying to be funny around your friends.
Feel more empowered and feel like they actually have a voice in the community because, you know, they're much more confident.
Systemic racism is really an important thing to look at because when we talk about police brutality, and even if we fix that problem, then it's education, then it's the judicial system, then it's the economics of America, then it's another thing. So to really strive toward a more equitable system and a more equal country, I think we need to look at all those aspects of the system and not just individual parts.
Me and my coworker Angel were both Latinos, so the fear we live with every single day is that my parents are immigrants, they don't have papers. So every day I come to work and I go back home hoping that my parents are still there.
The only way to change it is for you to get into positions of power. Once you get that education, once you get out of college, run for office, vote, put yourself in positions where you can actually make changes.